Hey y'all, my name is Cameronfonteneaux. In today's video, we're going to be talking about how to be consistent, how to stay disciplined. On my notebook here, I have 7 different things that I've written down that I feel like I've learned throughout this year. And so hopefully you guys will take this advice and you could learn from it, and hopefully it helps you grow just how it did me. And yeah, so let's get into the first thing. And so the first thing that I want to talk about is knowing your goals. And so I'm always going to break these down to like different little, I guess, like steps or whatever. But you always want to ask yourself 3 things. The first thing you want to ask is, what do you want to do? How do you want to do it, and like your why for it. So kind of like your purpose. So like, why do you want to do it? What do you want to do? And then how are you going to get there? And so for me, I would say when I was first starting like YouTube, because it's been a year for me. So um for me, I was, my what was, I want to be a YouTuber. Eventually, I would love to be like a full-time content creator. So that was kind of like my what. And then the other 2 ones is kind of like, I guess they go into like more depth. So like your why, you know what I mean? Because some people just want to be a content creator for the money or for like just the views to get famous. But like, I actually want to like, I actually want to like give advice to people. I actually want to learn. Just as I've learned from other YouTubers, I would like to output that into other people as well. Also, I don't know, I've always wanted to like, be a content creator, do it. So that's kind of my why. It's kind of a more of a personal thing and not more of a materialistic thing. And you could do that for anything. Like, say if you're going into college, like, why do you want your degree? Or if you're going into the military, why do you want to be in the military? Because like a lot of these things, I feel like people can't really force you to do. Therefore, you have to want to do it like physically yourself. And so that would be your why. And then for your other one would be how, because a lot of people, I just feel like nowadays, a lot of times nowadays, people, we have like a bunch of big, broad ideas, but then it's like we're not having the correct steps to get there. It's like, okay, say you want to start that business. Well, I mean, how are you going to get to that business? Are we planning effectively? Are we getting the steps down? Like, what are we doing to get that business right? Say if you want to get a nursing degree, are we taking classes? Are we doing outside programs? Are we, what is it called? It's not follow. Are you shadowing somebody to get extra experience? Like, what are we doing to build towards that goal? You know what I mean? And I just feel like this was definitely my first number one, because even when people ask me like, oh, how do you post a lot in YouTube? It's kind of like my why. Like, I've always wanted to do this, so that is kind of what keeps me going. And like I said, I don't really do it for the materialistic stuff, because as of right now, I'm not making no money. My content isn't monetized. And I wouldn't say I barely get views or like subs, because support is, so whatever support you get is whatever support you get. But I'm just saying it's not in a lot of numbers. So it's like, even if I just focus on that, that wouldn't get me as far as my passion for it would. So yeah, that's what I would say for number one. And another thing that I wanted to add is that I feel like, while knowing your why, you should also try to like envision it too. Because of course, like I said, I don't have the subs that I want, I don't have the views that I want, I don't have the monetizations that I want, but I still always try to like believe it. And so in believing that, you could try to do, I don't really do words of affirmations, but I'm just saying like you could do little things like that. Like, say you want to start that business, maybe put that in your home screen, or write some notes down by your desk or your bed, or just try to do things that will help try to like remind you each day of your goal. You know what I mean? And so I feel like that would be another thing that would help push your passion, because like I said, we want to build more for your belief, your love, and your passion for something than for like the materialistic things. So yeah, that's gonna be what I'm gonna say for number one. And so hopefully you guys have understood that, because I don't know, I feel like that might have come off a little confusing. But for number two, it's going to be building a plan, because once again, like I said, it's kind of your how. So this is kind of bouncing off of what I said for number one. But you want to build a plan, and through building that plan, you want to build a schedule, build a routine, build some good skills and some good habits. And for example, like I said, I'm always gonna go back to me with YouTube. I know for me, I'm busy during the week because I have class. Therefore, Monday through Thursday, I like sweat and try hard to make sure like in those 4 days, I'm getting work done, because I don't have class on Friday, and Saturday and Sunday I don't have class either. And so I make it to where Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, that's where I'll do my content planning. I'll be batching out my content. If I'm recording a video, like I'm recording this video now, it's Friday. I have time tomorrow, while still maybe studying or doing homework, to edit. And so that's how I kind of keep my routine and my schedule. Because like I said, I do Monday and Thursday. I don't do nothing else but school. So then on the weekends, I have time, right? Same thing, say if you want to get to the gym, right? Build you a routine. Say if you're busy all in the mornings, go in the afternoon. If you're busy all in the afternoon, wake up early and go to the mornings. That's what I do. Usually the gyms and stuff, I feel like it's a little bit more packed in the afternoon. I have class in the afternoon. Therefore, I wake up a little earlier at like 6 or 7 to go to the gym when barely people are there. I can get in and out and boom. I went to the gym. Now I'm going throughout my day of class, and that's kind of how I stay. That's how I kind of stay consistent in the gym. I don't plan stuff on the weekends because I know I'm going to be editing and I'm going to be filming. You know what I mean? And so, like I said, you could take YouTube out of that if it's school related. On the weekends, you know, you might be shadowing under somebody, or if it's a business, you might be working on that business, or say you don't even have the business up. You could just be researching. You know what I mean? You have to have a plan for a lot of this stuff. Like I said in the first part, we'll be having such broad ideas and broad goals. And I just feel like sometimes we rush into them, and then when they don't work, we're like, oh, well, this isn't for me. But it's like, did we give time to do our research? You know what I mean? Even before I started my YouTube channel, I was like, okay, what videos what do I want to do? What is going to be my niche? What audience am I targeting? What age group? You know what I mean? You have to put all these things into perspective. You know what I mean? I literally just watched a YouTube vid about this, but it's like, that's just like my age demographic of people that are watching my channel was like 40-year-olds. Are 40-year-olds going to be interested in college vlogs? No. The people that watch me are 18 and 20-year-olds. You know what I mean? So like, but it's stuff like that you have to know, you have to understand and stuff. That's why I would say for number 2 is building a plan. And also, I mentioned it as well, but like I said, good habits will kind of make or break this because once again, for me, I'm an early bird. I could wake up at 6 or 7 easy. That ain't nothing for me. But at some point, I remember 11 used to be my usual, 12 used to be my usual, but now it's 6 or 7. That's a good habit that I built on. You know what I mean? I used to also stay up late, 3 or 4 on the game with my friends, and I had to cut back on that. That was a bad habit of mine. So always fix your good and bad habits because, like I said, those are always going to kind of make or break your like routine or your schedule. And so yeah, that's for number 2. And so for number 3, I want to talk about is cutting off bad habits. And so I did mention this in the last point, but to go more in detail, you want to discover like you're always going to ask yourself these questions so you can kind of, like I said, break stuff down. But you know, cutting out your bad habits, you're going to ask one, what is stopping you? What is hindering you? What is getting in your way? What is the problem, right? So say for me, say if I wasn't able to stay consistent on YouTube, what is it? Is it my time management? Is it me not waking up earlier? Is it me staying out too late, being up too late? Like, what is it? You want to start that business. What is getting in your way? You know, like, do you need extra money? So do you need to pick up an extra job? Do, you know, say if it's religion stuff, you know, it could be like, what is making you sin? What is making you lose faith? Like, we have to ask ourselves these questions. I've learned this a long time ago, even from friends. Sometimes we have to take accountability of ourselves, and we have to ask ourselves what is the problem, because majority of the time, y'all, we be the problem. Okay, so we have to sit there and we have to ask ourselves, what is the issue, what is the problem, what is it getting ahead of us, right? It could even be because I just always try to think of what we could be struggling. So it might be like, oh, you want to stop drinking, stop smoking. Is it the people you're hanging around with? Is it the events you're going to? Is it what you're talking about? That was like me when I was trying to step away from like being so lustful and like Christianity and stuff. When I was looking back at it, I kind of used to know that like it wasn't really necessary the people who I was with, but I kind of learned that like it was kind of in the conversation. And majority of the times, it wasn't even other people who was bringing certain topics up. It was me. I was the one talking about certain things, asking certain questions, but it's like I could be praying for this and that, but it's like it's in my conversations, you know what I mean? And so I'm like, that's one thing that was hindering me. I feel like that's one thing my mom had taught me. There's 24 hours in the day. There's no reason you shouldn't be able to study for an assignment, study for a quiz, you know, complete something, turn something in late. You know what I mean? I used to be the same thing. Oh, how can I work out after class? I'm tired after class. What are you doing in the morning? People would be sitting there like, people would tell me, they'd be like, oh, how do you wake up at 6 or 7? But it's like, what are we doing at 4 a.m.? Are we being productive at 4 a.m.? What are we doing? So yeah, figure out what is your bad habit, cut that out, because like I said, those are the things that are hindering you. And then it's like you really don't realize it, right? Like that's one thing for me I noticed going into the semester, I was like, I really want to do better on time management. So I just started putting timers on my phone, or it's not timers, it's like the limits. I started to have to put the limits on my phone because y'all know, y'all be on TikTok. You'll be like, oh, let me get 5 minutes, 5 minute break. You spent 3 or 4 hours on TikTok. So that's why I just started putting limits on my phones, on Instagram. Like I have one for TikTok and Instagram. It's like 10, 15 minutes. And it'd be so funny because literally my timer will go off and I literally say like, dang, I didn't even know I was here for 10, 15 minutes. That's why. You know what I mean? I would sit there and be like, oh, my time management is so bad. Then on Sunday, I'm getting a notification from Screen Time saying, oh, well, your screen time has been up 30, 50% from last week. Oh, so no wonder I didn't have no time. I'm on my phone. You know what I mean? So it's like I said, it's little things like that. But at some point, I would say like, oh, I'm running out of time, running out of time. No, you're not. You're on TikTok. Get off of TikTok. Okay, get off of Instagram. We need to be on Instagram. We need to study for that exam, do that project. Okay. So yeah, find out what is your bad habit and cut it out. And then this one it might not be inherently how to be better in discipline or consistency, but it definitely could like make, I guess, like the process easier. And for number 4, I would say is don't compare yourself to others. And like I said, we're gonna break it down. Everyone's journey is not the same. You need to start understanding and accepting your struggle, embrace it, and make your situation unique. Kind of the same thing, and to delay your gratification. And delaying your gratification was something big that I had to learn, especially coming from YouTube, because I would see other people, and even some people at school, they would post something, and it might not have even been the best title, the best thumbnail. I mean, it might have just been a regular post, 2K. And I'm like, I just sit here and spent 10 hours editing this video, 2 hours on this thumbnail. Why ain't nobody watching the video? You know what I mean? But you got to delay your gratification. It was even my travel vlog going to Chicago. I think for the first week or two, I think it literally had less than like 50 views, or it might have just been at 50. And I literally remember posting on my close friends like, no, why didn't nobody watch this vlog? I thought I did so good. Now the vlog got like 200. So I'm like, that's the stuff that I'm talking about. Like, you need to delay your gratification. We always think that success happens overnight. Stuff is gonna happen just like that. No, like, and it's like we always hear these things, but we're just not taking it into account, because I've watched so many TikToks of people interviewing like billionaires, and all they say is that like it took them time. They failed multiple times. They failed this many times. You know what I mean? Like, just how they say failure is not rejection. Just because something doesn't happen one time, it happens the second time. And then if you are a Christian, you already know like you gotta have faith. God is gonna make you wait. He's gonna make you wait and have patience. So yeah. And then, yeah, just try not to compare yourself to everyone's journey, because, like I said, we all come from different backgrounds, different races, different times, different situations, like just anything. And then some people will sit there and say that, like, that stuff doesn't come into account, but it does, because that's just like me, for example. Like, I I wouldn't say I don't have that much money, but I'm just saying I'm not like the richest person in the world, but still, it took me time to get my camera equipment, to get a good lens, to get a good mic. Like, I didn't have this in the beginning. But at the end of the day, it's like, hey, is the video going to get uploaded? That's just like, I'm recording off my phone. I don't have enough money to go buy a $3,000 camera right in there at Best Buy, but it's like, hey, we gotta make some work. You know, we gotta make some shake. You are going through something, you have a situation, and you find a solution to fix that. That could be your business idea. Now, boom, everybody's like, I could use that. Now your business is thriving. You know what I mean? Just like my YouTube, there's a lot of people who have sent me DMs being like, oh, well, how was GMU? How's the school? And I'm like, look at that. I used to think, well, the school's not that big. It's not that popular. We don't have a football team. I was like, are people really going to be interested in my week in the life? Yes, they do. For example, my moving vlog is doing good right now. Back then, I used to think, are people really going to be interested in me moving in? Like, you know what I mean? Like, just because, like I said, just because you're not famous or something don't mean people don't be interested. Like, it's always somebody watching. It's always somebody tuning in when you think no one is tuning in. So yeah, just try not to compare yourself to others, believe in yourself, and just make your situation, your journey unique. And so for number 5, this kind of also bounces off of the thing I just said about. I feel like they all kind of bounce off each other because, I mean, I guess the same topic is all this is in the same video, no matter what. But for number 5, I want to say is to focus on self-love when times get hard. Remind yourself of your why. Remember to make it fun. Don't focus so much on the goal. And I feel like this is the same thing as, like, you know, not compare yourself to others, because you always need to remember your why. Like, because that was just like me, right? I feel like I've always struggled with comparison. Even when I go back to when I used to run track in high school, I'd be like, oh, that person's faster than me, but it's like, Cameron, why did you join this team? Why did you want to get better? You know what I mean? Why did you want to be on the relay? Like I said, you have to ask yourself why. We would just be getting mad at stuff. We get mad at a period in our life, a moment in our life, a situation in our life, but we're not breaking the things down. Or I would sit here and be like, Cameron, you know, why did you join the team? Why did you want to, you know, I was a captain at some point. Why did you want to be a captain? Like, you always have to ask yourself these things, because no matter what, you have to take care of the passion, right? Even when I was comparing my views to some other people or my sub count, had to remind myself, it's like you always have to stay grounded. You know what I mean? Always stay grounded in your why and your passion. And to ask myself, Cameron, why did you start? You didn't start YouTube to be getting money and to be rich. That's not why you started it. You started it because you've always loved YouTube. You, just as I've gained advice from YouTube, I also try to want to give my personal advice, because at the end of the day, what is the difference between, and what's the difference between me and my favorite YouTuber? Nothing. We're still the same people. We bleed the same. We breathe the same air. We drink the same water. It's just they live a certain lifestyle that they can now share. So why can't I share my lifestyle? You know what I mean? Once again, like I said, you never know who's watching. I never know whose heart I could touch or whose feelings I could touch. You know what I mean? But like I said, just don't sit there and compare and be thinking nobody's watching when some people are. And so that's why I said it's kind of, you know, just always remember to focus on like self-love, even when times like get hard. Just stay grounded, even religiously. Like I said, if you are a Christian, I'm always going to try to compare both sides, because I know some people are religious and not religious. But to say, if you are Christian and you're just going through something, well, why do you think God will put this in your life? Or why do you think God is making this difficult? Or do you think God is trying to help you learn patience? Do you think God is trying to help let you grow? You know, just so many different things. Like, we just have to try to sit down, question ourselves, and think, because it's not always the next man, it's not always the next person. Like, sometimes we could be causing issues ourselves. Like I said, those are things that we have to break down in ourselves. Like I said, just try to make it fun, have that self-love, because if you're going to tear yourself down and say you can't do stuff, it's always going to make sense. It's always going to make stuff harder. Yeah. So yeah, focus on your self-love. And so to go into number 6, this one is not going to be the same, but to go into number 6, I would say consume things that make you better. Watch certain YouTubers, listen to certain podcasts, read certain books, do certain hobbies, and just consume things that are of your interest, of your passion. So for example, me, or I mean, whoever's watching this video, I can definitely tell, like, you want to do better, you're trying to like do better in your situation, or you're trying to grow that business, you're just trying to grow as a person. But it's like, look at that. The first step you've already completed is you took the time out of your day to watch something that's going to help you grow, right? That's the same thing with me. I'll be watching YouTubers who do like motivational videos, motivational talk, uplifting stuff. I'll be sometimes when I'm in the gym, I listen to podcasts where it'll be, I think his name is Jay Shetty. I think I might put it on the screen, but he'll be interviewing like famous people or just successful people, and it'll be like an hour and a half. They'll break down everything, like how was their come up, how was their struggles. Once again, everybody's journey is different. Everybody comes from different backgrounds, but I feel like that is what makes it special. That like I'm not gonna lie, I don't watch this podcast consistently, but when I do, the episodes are so different because it's a different person, it's a different background, it's a different struggle, it's a different like life lesson that someone is sharing. And so that's one thing. Just like how you guys saw those my book video, you know, watch that if you haven't. But just in that book video, I read books like Atomic Habits. Right now I have Psycho-Cybernetics. I haven't finished that one, but I have Psycho-Cybernetics, Four Agreements, and I think it was The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F. All those books helped teach me certain life lessons that I did not know before I read those books. I used to be the exact same person to sit there and be like, well, I don't like reading, Well, once again, are we gonna get this? Are we gonna get the life lessons? Are we gonna better our mind, or are we just gonna keep complaining about the problem? What we gonna do? And so, but yeah, like just like I don't know if you guys have watched that video, but just like in that video, it was literally a 40-minute video. So I learned a lot about those books. Like I said, they taught me so much. But at the same time, I had to take that time to invest in myself. I had to go to Barnes and Nobles, buy all those books. Not only did I have to buy all those books, I had to read all those books and actually understand. And last, knowing that I wanted to share my knowledge with y'all, I had to take the time out to plan the video, edit the video, and post the video. But like I said, that is what I want to put back in the world because that's the same thing that I consume, right? It was even back, I would say, last fall, before I had switched my major. I was just so stressed out, just wasn't motivated. Like, it was just like mentally we weren't there. But then I noticed too, I was consuming like negative type of content. So I was consuming, like, say, like TikToks. Y'all know those TikToks y'all be seeing at 12 a.m. But like, I was watching those sad TikToks or like looking up. I wouldn't say bad stuff. Like I was like not nothing insane. I don't want to say the certain word, but it's not that. Not nothing insane. But I would just be looking up or like watching sad stuff, looking at sad comments, tweets, sad TikToks. But it's like no, like whatever you consume on a daily, that is kind of what you're going to become. That's kind of all I would say for that. And we're going to go into our last topic. So this one is going to be kind of short, but it's kind of I kind of found this when I was researching like how I want to go about in this video. But it said that self-love is self-discipline. Everything is easy if you love doing it, and that is kind of I feel like I feel like that's kind of what I was wrapping up in the summary of all my previous points is if you truly love something, it's going to be easy. Like I said, people always sit there and they'll be like, how do you edit for 10 to some hours? But it's like, I've liked to edit. I learned to edit way back in like middle school. And I just always thought it was cool. You know what I mean? Doing different angles. I got that new lens, experimenting with new audios, angles, lighting, and it's still so much more that I want to do. But like I said, it is a passion in me. You know what I mean? Like I love when like for example, the hygiene video, I went about that way. I went about I mean, the whole video was different. I went about the thumbnail different. I said, okay, I want to try to experiment with the thumbnail this way. When I was doing the little intros, I was like, okay, I want to add a little intro so I can add some effects. I was like, I want to add some background music. It's just like I'm always trying to learn. I'm always trying to do something differently. You know what I mean? Like I said, not always trying to look at stuff in a bad way or in a bad like light aspect, if that makes sense. Like I said, one video might do bad and I'm like, okay, was it how the intro was? Like I used to realize that like in my previous videos, I feel like I mean, you're never gonna have a perfect video, I don't think, but I feel like my audience retention used to be low. But then I look back at it, my intro used to be 5 minutes. Why is the intro 5 minutes? You know what I mean? So I started to practice getting to it. That's why I felt, like I said, I feel like maybe you guys can tell, but I would just be like, hey, y'all, you guys can tell my title and thumbnail, and at least in the next minute or two, like, we're doing something. You know what I mean? If I'm getting my hair done, we're in the car. If I'm working out, we're at least at the gym. Like, I would spend 5 or 6 minutes saying what I'm doing, breaking the whole video down, but it's like, you already saw the thumbnail. You know this is a weekly vlog. Why do I need to spend 8-10 minutes explaining that it's a weekly vlog when it's literally the thumbnail? You know what I mean? Week of workouts. You weren't going to click on the video if you weren't interested in working out. Why am I talking 10 and 15 minutes about working out? You know what I mean? But like I said, that was my passion. That's the things I had to learn the hard way. You know what I mean? I learned that like, some people, they just don't want to they don't want to hear all that in the intro. That's something I had to learn. Like I said, that was my passion. Same thing. I remember I had to talk to my mom about this because even my mom was like, well, if I want to start buying these different equipment, I eventually got a MacBook. That junk was super duper expensive. If I want to start buying all these things, then I can't, I might not be able to get the newest game came out, or I might not get the PlayStation, or I might not get the newest clothes. And that's a sacrifice I wanted to make. You know what I mean? I was eventually able to get this stuff to where I can get, the stuff that I really wanted, but this stuff had to come first. You know what I mean? There's even times last semester where I had to miss out on a basketball game. I had to miss out on an event because I knew I had to edit the next day. But it's like, that is my passion. I told myself coming to this YouTube stuff, regardless if I have low views, low subscribers, I'm going to post consistently. And yeah, and so that's kind of everything for my last point. And yeah, so those are kind of all of my tips and advice to like how to get more consistent or how to, gain more discipline. And I'm gonna go through them just one more time because I know this is probably long. And, I love to talk, get off track. So for number one, it was knowing your goals. What do you want to do? Why do you want to do it? And how are you going to get there? For number two, it's going to be building a plan, building a schedule, build a routine, build good skills and habits for that plan. Number three, same thing as kind of number two, but cutting off bad habits. What is stopping you? What is hindering you? What is getting in your way? What is the problem? What is holding you back? Number four, don't compare yourself to others. Everyone's journey is not the same. Understand and accept your struggle. Embrace it, make it unique. Delay your gratification. Number five, focus on self-love when times get hard. Remind yourself of your why. Remember to make it fun. Don't focus too much on the goal and like the results. Just like I said, try to enjoy the process, fall in love with the process. Number six, consume things that make you better. Watch certain YouTubers, listen to certain podcasts. I didn't mention this the first time, but listen to certain music because I know sometimes we be listening to sad and depressing music. So listen to the certain music, read certain books, and do certain hobbies. And for the last one is self-love, is self-discipline. Everything is going to be easy if you love it. And I guess the last thing is just no matter what that is, I think that is exactly the definition of discipline is doing things when you don't want to do it. So hey, if you're busy, you don't got some money, well, we're just gonna have to do it regardless. You know what I mean? That's just like you might not have the much top quality, the most equipment, the most audio, but we're gonna post a video, we're not gonna post a video. So but yeah. That's pretty much all my advice on how to become disciplined and consistent. If anybody has any more like tips or something that I should have covered, make sure you put it in the comments below. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I love giving advice or like shedding my shedding light on just the stuff that I went through. And yeah, let me know any more sit down videos that you guys want to see. And I appreciate all the love that you guys have shown on the college vlogs or kind of like the back to school vlogs. And yeah, I think we are currently at 379 or 380 subs. So we literally are right there. Almost at 400. I'm gonna update that in my content book. So yeah, just super excited for the semester, super excited for more advice to give out. And yeah, like I said in my last couple of sit down videos, just because your journey is not like anybody else's does not mean it's not for you. You just have to enjoy your journey. It's meant for you. And yeah. So if you're starting that business out, best of luck to your business. I know we're all going back to school, so best of luck on everybody this semester. Let's get this degree, okay? Because it's even my junior year too, and work is starting to get hard. But how are we going to walk across that stage with that degree? We will. I will have that green and yellow on my chest, and we will be walking across Eagle Bank, okay? But yeah, like I said, whatever you're doing, whatever you're starting off, just keep going, keep pushing. Don't stop. The year's over with, and you don't want to be like, oh, well, I should have did this year. No, going to start now and going to do it. Okay. So yeah, best luck to everybody. I thank you guys for all your support. And yeah, let me know what other videos you guys want. I know I love a long outro, so I'm going to go and wrap it up. Continue to like, comment, subscribe, and vote to 400 subs. And I'm going to see you on the next video.